I know what you're thinking. You're like, yeah, man, your hair is so luscious and pretty and long. Yes, it is. Okay? Get over it. Hello everyone, my name is Yamen. Welcome to my channel. Today is Wednesday. You've done Monday, you've done Tuesday. Kudos to you. And now you're about to finish Wednesday. So I just want to say I'm here for you. Let's have a chat. Let's have a midweek chat. Let off some steam of the middle of the week. 2 days left and it's about to be the weekend. So today we're going to be talking about the truth of menstrual cups. Yes. So trigger alert. If you're the kind of person who gets irritated or annoyed when a lady is talking about her menstrual cycle or her period, then here's the door. But if you are curious and you want to know more about the woman's body, whether you're a woman or you're a man who has women in his life, then please stay tuned, because today I'm going to be delving into menstrual cups. I have been using menstrual cups for a year now, and I've had such a wonderful journey and experience with it, and I felt like maybe it's time to share. And coincidentally, a friend of mine who we had never talked about menstrual cups before just randomly asked me one day, oh yeah man, have you ever heard of menstrual cups? And I was like, yeah, I've been using it for almost a year now. And she was like, oh my god, awesome, tell me about it. And it kind of inspired me to do this video, because I'm like, maybe there are some women out there who, like my friend, wants to know about menstrual cups because they're curious. So before I start, I'm going to talk about why I started using menstrual cups. I've always hated pads. I've always hated menstrual pads, menstrual toys, whatever you want to call it. I disliked them, hated them. First off, because I really had heavy flows, and the fact that I just have to change every 2 hours was just too stressful for me. It was a stressor. Like, it was adding to my anxiety about my period every single month. And I'm like, there has to be a better way. There's a secret that they're not telling us. And so I decided to go into like a rabbit hole of research. Like, I just kept on looking at different articles online, watching different YouTube videos, and finally I came up with two options. And the first were reusable pads. Now for me, the idea of reusable pads was just like worse than the idea of actual pads. I'm sorry to say, if you use reusable pads, this is not to insult you or insult your choices, but for me, I just felt like I couldn't do that, because it's like you are menstruating into a pad, right? So you're expelling blood into this pad every single day, and then you have to wash it. Like, does all the blood come out? Like, how hygienic is this? Wouldn't it cause reactions? It just felt really cumbersome and unhygienic for me. And so the next option, which was menstrual cups, like, it made more sense, right? I felt like, okay, reusable pads could be like a support for menstrual cups, but definitely not to just use on its own. I didn't see how that would work. And so I decided to go and research about menstrual cups. And here we are, 1 year later, and I'm telling you my story. Now, before I continue, I would like to show you guys what a menstrual cup looks like, because I've just been saying menstrual cups. Like, what exactly does it look like? Now, this is what a menstrual cup looks like. Yeah, like a cup, like the name implies. So there are different sizes depending on the size of your vagina, or the amount of flow or the heaviness of flow that you have. And so for me, I got the two. I came in a set though, so I got the two sizes, and I use this when I have really light flows, maybe the first day or the last day, and this is for my actual, like, the real gang period. It looks like this. It has a tip that you can use to hold it when you're inserting it into your vagina, and then it has a rim like so, and it has some holes around the rim, which is supposed to be used for the suction part of things, which I'll explain later. And yeah, this is what it looks like. I got mine for about 35 bucks, and off of Amazon, would you believe it, delivered to my doorstep. And it came with this nice case which you can just like slip in your handbag or your traveling bag when you're going on a trip. It's so convenient. Like, that's the one thing I would say is really convenient. Imagine going on a trip and you have to pack like a bunch of sanitary pads. It's like, what am I gonna waste this luggage space for? Like, this is all you need for your period. It's crazy, unbelievable, I know. I just want to say that this video is in no way trying to advertise or convince you to use menstrual cups. It is purely a decision that you have to make for yourself. I am making this video just to share my experience for people who want to know about this. But this is not for me to say, oh, if you're using menstrual pads, drop your pads right now, go and take a minute. No. This is a decision that you cannot just make because somebody else told you to. Something you have to do for yourself, for your own reasons. And so that's kind of like a disclaimer before I get into the nitty-gritties of things. Now, like I said, it's not for everybody. So if you are a patient person, yeah, you have to be really patient because you have to go through a learning curve. If you are a curious person, you want to know more about your body, you're not afraid to explore your vagina and know what's really going on down there, this is for you. Or if you used to have like pad reactions, like I didn't really have pad reactions. I mean, once in a while I have some rashes, but I couldn't really say, okay, it was because of the pad. So, but I know of some people who definitely react to menstrual pads, like they have like sore thighs. If you're one of those people and you're looking for an alternative on how to have a better experience during your period, then this video is definitely for you. So one thing you need to learn with using menstrual cups is about the hygiene and cleaning. Like, you do not want to put things inside your body that are harmful to your body, right? And especially because you caused the harm by not washing your cups properly. What you're supposed to do is, before you even use your menstrual cup for the first time, you should boil it in water, like 100 degrees Celsius, boiling point kind of thing. Boil it in water to sterilize it before you dry it. Do not use like fabric to dry it, like just allow it air dry, and then you store either in your case or in whatever container that you feel is clean enough for you to store your cups in, but it should at least be aerated. Like, this one is not completely a vacuum. So another thing, you don't want to store your menstrual cup in a vacuum because bacteria can actually grow in them. So it should be aerated where, you know, air can get to it. But when you are using the cups during your period, you do not actually have to sterilize it every day, right? You can bring it out, rinse it, like dispose of the blood that it has collected, and then put it back in immediately without any issues. I've been using this cup for a year and I've not had any reactions. And that's about the hygiene. Really easy. Like, there's really nothing to do there. I do not personally use soap to wash it because I do not use soap to wash my vagina. This is something we will talk about in a different video. But I do not use soap to wash my vagina because I react to it. And so I would not use soap to wash my cups. If you're the kind of person that uses soap normally and you feel like you don't have a problem with that, I would not advise you to do that, and I would not advise you to not do it because, again, I'm not a doctor. But personally, I do not use soap, and so I would not use soap to wash my cups. I would only sterilize it at the end of my period. After you've learned how to clean the cups, the next thing you need to do is to learn how to insert them, obviously. Now, before you even go inserting cups into your vagina like no man's business, you want to first of all locate your cervix. Now, a lot of people don't know what a cervix is. As a woman, you should know all parts of your reproductive system. First of all, you should know all parts of your body, but again, your reproductive system, which is very, very, very important, you should know about it. And so your cervix is that round donor-like shaped thing inside your vagina that is kind of really soft and squishy. So what you need to do is to put your hand in there. Do not be afraid to put your hand into your own body. It's yours. So put your hand in there and locate where your cervix is. This is very important because you want to put the cup directly underneath the cervix, right? That's the only way it's going to collect the blood properly without leakage. And you do not want leakage, trust me, right? Leakage with the cups is definitely worse than leakage with pad because, like, it's flowing, so it's just going to flow everywhere. So you want to make sure. I'll give you a little example. So let's assume that this is your cervix. Obviously your cervix is not this wide. I mean, when it's not dilated when you're in labor, but it's not this wide, and so it's like, you know, smaller. But I'll use this as an example. So let's say this is your cervix and this is your menstrual cup. So what you want to do is put it directly underneath it. You do not want it to be above, where there's a bit of space beneath, or you don't want it to be underneath like this, right, where there's a bit of space on top. So you want it to be directly underneath the cervix, so it collects all the blood properly. First and foremost, guys, locate your cervix. Okay, it's fun. Trust me, it's a fun activity. Oh, when you finally find it, you'll be like, oh my god, that's my cervix, so cute. Yeah, so locate your cervix. Now, after you've located your cervix, the next thing you want to do is to fold your menstrual cup. Now, there are two major ways of folding your menstrual cup. You can either fold it with the U form, which is just folding it by half. This is what it looks like. Or you can fold it with the downward form. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to take one part of the menstrual cup, one side of the rim, and you're going to fold it straight down into the middle of the cup. So the moment you do that, you have this shape. Now, this is the shape I use because I found that it's easier to insert this way. Once you insert it into your vagina, what you want to do is to hold the end right here. You hold the end of the cup and then you twist. You twist, and as you're twisting, you're also pressing it to release it. Now, it's released easily because it's not within an enclosed space, but when it's inside the vagina, it's going to be closed like this. So you want to keep, pushing it so that it can release, and then you twist it to make sure that the suction is around your vagina, like the rim is around your vagina and there's no space. My trick when I'm inserting my menstrual cup is that I make sure I wait for the popping sound, like this sound, right? That sound, that is when I know that it is fully open and the suction is complete. This sounds really technical, I know, but you have to try it to learn how to use it. Like I said, there's a learning curve and you have to keep trying every month before you can actually know exactly what you are doing. Now, you can try it even when you're not on your period, but obviously you need to know if it's leaking or not, if you have done it properly. On that thing I also do is that once I've heard that sound and I feel like, okay, yes, it's in there, I also try to put in my index finger and go around the cup to make sure that there's no folded edge. If there's a folded edge, that means the suction is not complete and you are going to leak. Just like the way you boil the cup before you first used it, you also need to boil it after your period, right? So first you boil. After your period is done, you boil before you store. When you bring it out, in order to, dispose of the blood that it has collected, what you need to do is just to rinse it with warm water or hot water and insert it immediately back into your body and you're totally fine. Now, the menstrual cup, depending on your flow, lasts up to 10 hours. Now, at first I was very skeptical about this because I was like, 10 hours, like, you mean I can go a whole work day without having to change, like without having to bring out the cup and dispose of the blood? This is absurd. But yeah, it actually does work. Now, when I use a smaller cup, definitely not, because my flow is heavier than this cup can carry. But with this cup, I found that I can actually go between 8 to 10 hours depending on the day of the period. Now, for me, my heaviest days are day 3 and 4. So on those days, I know I'm going to go to the washroom more often to dispose of the blood and wash the cup. So on those days, like maybe 6 hours, tops. But on the days that my flow is light, I can actually go 10 hours without having to change my cup, which is actually awesome because on those days, I know that I can sleep through the night without having to worry about whether I'm going to stay in the bed or I'm going to leak everywhere. It's a lifesaver. So right now, I'm going to tell you about the benefits that I feel like I have gotten from using menstrual cups. Number one, and most important, is the savings. I haven't had to buy menstrual pads in months. It's getting to 1 year now since I started using the menstrual cups and I haven't had to buy pads. Do you know what that means? As a lady, do you understand what this means? It's awesome. So I had to just invest one time and since then I haven't had to buy anything else. Now they say the menstrual cups last for up to 15 years depending on how you use it and depending on the type you buy. But again, even if it was yearly that I had to change it, think about it, do the math, right? Pads every month compared to buying one cup every year or every 2 years. I think that's still a savings compared to 10 to 15 years. Since I've been using the menstrual cup, I've noticed that I have been more in tune with my body. I have been more observant of my period. I've been more accepting of my period. Like, I can see the color, I can be like, oh, okay, this is healthy, this is not healthy. If you've ever spoken to your doctor or your gynecologist about your fertility or your period or your reproductive system, they will tell you that the color of your blood during your period is indicative of your health, right? So the darker it is, the less healthy you are. So you want your blood to actually be lighter, right? On the lighter side, bright red, not dark red, not almost black. But the thing is, once the blood touches the pad, it changes color. There's almost no way for you to know that your blood is a certain color unless you are so observant. Like, it's very hard for you to know. But with the menstrual cup, I've noticed that I've been able to see my blood firsthand. I've been able to say, oh, okay, this is what my blood looks like. Oh, I'm healthy. Why is that my blood was this color this month and next month it was a different color? Maybe I need to change my diet. Maybe I need to work out more. Like, it's just very indicative. If you are observant or if you care about such things, then I feel like that's one of the benefits I've gotten from using a menstrual cup. And so the next benefit, which is monitoring and observation, is also comes from the first thing I said about the acceptance, being able to not be irritated by your blood. You know, that whole stigma that women feel, even subconsciously, even if they say they don't feel that, but subconsciously they have this secrecy that they have to cloak their period with, that, oh, okay, I can't talk about my period, it's disgusting, it's eerie, you know, things like that. But I feel like with using the menstrual cup, I've been more accepting of my body. Like, this is something natural, this is nothing to be ashamed of. So why did I used to feel this way? So with the menstrual cup, I feel like I've been more accepting of myself and then observant and being able to monitor, you know, what my body is actually doing at a particular time. The issue of hygiene, I feel like since I started using menstrual cups, I feel cleaner. That smell, guys, I don't know about you, but there's a smell that comes when you use pads during your period. I do not know if it's the reaction between the blood and the air, or, you know, the smell of your body. I do not know what it is. Like, no matter how often you decide to change your pad, there's just that smell that comes with your period. And I've noticed that there's nothing like that with the menstrual cups. Like, apart from the smell of blood when you go to the washroom to change your cup, during the day you can walk freely, you can do whatever, you can even go swimming because it is suctioned in there and it doesn't move. Hygiene is just top notch when it comes to menstrual cups because you're constantly rinsing. Like, when I go into the washroom, it's just rinse. I feel cleaner, you know, when I'm on my period using the menstrual cup. It's different. And you would only understand what I'm saying when you try the menstrual cups. And the last thing I'll say is I have less anxiety during my period. Like, before I start using menstrual cups, I realized that before my period comes, I'm anxious. I'm just anxious. Like, oh my god, my period is coming again. Oh my god, I can't wear white. Oh my god, I can't move anyhow. Oh my god, I can't walk down the stairs. It's just so much anxiety. I used to feel that a lot when I was on my period using menstrual pads, and since I started using menstrual cup, it has just disappeared. Like, the anxiety is still there because it's just a time of the month where you are bleeding constantly. There's no fun about that. There can never be any fun about that. And so the fact that is going to come every month still gives me a bit of anxiety, but it's not as bad as what I used to face before, because now I'm more comfortable. Now I do not have to keep shifting. Now I do not have to check, oh, am I staying, or do I have to ask a friend to check if I'm staying? I know, because I know exactly how it works and I know how long it is before I have to go and change, so I am not thinking about it too much. So it's been 1 year since I've been using menstrual cups, and I have seeing way more benefits than disadvantages. The only disadvantage I would say is just the fact that you have to make sure that you're putting it correctly. You have to be very meticulous about how you're using menstrual cups. You have to make sure you boil it to sterilize it, all those things. But for me, I feel like it's something you get used to. It's just like wearing clothes, right? You know you have to wash them after some point. You know you have to do this, you know you have to do that. So it's like, for me, the disadvantages were only initially when the learning curve was still at the beginning point. But now that I feel like I've passed, like I've even gone to the other edge of the learning curve, I feel like those are not even disadvantages anymore. It just comes like second nature. And so since I've been using menstrual cups, that's just been a great experience for me. It has caused me a lot of savings, and I feel glad that I'm able to contribute, even if it's so little, into saving the planet, because I'm not putting out pads every single month which end up in landfills and take years upon years to finally decompose. I'm using a reusable product which I just feel happy about. I feel happy that I'm actually contributing to global sustainability. And so, amongst other advantages which I've already talked about in this video. So guys, let me know what you think. This is a very sensitive topic that I know that a lot of people would not want to participate in, but I would encourage you to please talk about these things. Talk about your period. It is not something to be ashamed of, like I said before. Talk about it with your friends. You never know who is already using menstrual cups. You do not know what you could learn from your fellow females. So it is good for us to have these conversations. And with my comeback to YouTube, I feel like, again, if I'm going to be talking about Yamen's take on things, then things encompasses every single thing. And this is part of me. This is part of who I am. I'm a female, and this is something that I go through every single month. So I feel like it should be talked about. I feel like women do not talk about this enough, and I hope that this can start conversations between you and your friends. People can have like arguments about it, and let me know what you guys think. Do you think you're gonna try menstrual cups? Do you think it's something you're still scared of? Do you think it's something that makes sense? Or do you think it's something totally gross and you never try it? Let me know what you think in the comment section. Don't forget to like this video if you did like it. Share if you care. And I'll see you in my next midweek chat. I hope you have a lovely rest of your week. And I'll see you next time. Bye, Totters. Mwah.